to another episode of DoubleBCreates. Thank you for tuning in. And today we have another special guest that we're really excited to introduce. This gentleman runs the Fearless Life Project. He's a leading transformational expert. He helps people get past anxiety, doubt, fear, things like that. We also, if you tuned in a couple episodes ago, we did interview his co-host, or his other host, I guess, on his podcast called, holy crap, I just lost it.
It rhymes with the schmoo success.
The New School of Success.
Bingo. Yeah.
Crap. So we had already talked to Nick Maytash. Tune into that episode also. But now we have Julian Rosen on, and I'm super excited to talk to him, or at least attempt to, because I can't talk today. So.
We'll flush all the right words out. It'll end up being what it needs to be, of course.
So, Julian, go ahead and tell all two listeners what they should expect from looking at your information.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the intro so clearly explained. Yeah, really what I help people rewire their neurophysiology, which is just a lot of syllables. Now I can't talk, man. A lot of syllables for what goes on between your ears impacts everything. What goes on between your ears impacts your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, your hormones, your neurochemistry, all of the things that influence your behavior. If we can strategically change that, if we can elevate your thoughts, feelings, and actions, we're going to elevate your consistency and your behaviors. And if you think about it, your life is really just the sum of your actions and your habits. So if we can elevate the source, cause and effect, if we can improve the cause, you're going to improve the effect. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people out there who, man, they feel like a lot of this self-doubt and the limitations that hold them back from making a big change in their life, they're convinced it's who they are. They're like, man, this is who I am. It's my personality. It's who I think I am. It's who I feel I am. And a lot of people take this the wrong way, but it's not. It's actually a fucking lie. It's actually it's a story that you've normalized. It's an emotional state, which your emotions are just hormones and neurochemistry. It's a neurochemical cocktail your body's memorized, and you're just really good at feeling it. So I was clinically depressed, diagnosed on all the medications and stuff. So I believe me, I get it. For a long time, I was like, that's who I am. I'm the depressed and anxious guy. Look at how depressed and anxious I am. Look at all my medications. Look at how stuck I am. And man, that was my story for a long time. And if you were to take a picture of my brain, that would be the neural pathways carved into it, right? Like I was feeling it, I was thinking it, therefore I was convincing myself I was that, until I realized that was all optional. And you learn a bunch of nifty shit growing up. You know, school teaches you a lot of stuff, but it really doesn't teach you like the truth of who you are as a powerful human. And this thing called neuroplasticity, your ability to literally, nothing's set in stone. You can change your brain. Just like a muscle, your brain will change, it will grow, it will evolve. And so that's my long-winded way of saying I help people rewire their neurophysiology so they can be whoever the fuck they want to be and no longer identify with this limited story that they were force-fed when they were little.
I like it.
I like it.
I'm glad you guys
Before we get any further, go ahead and do like a self-promotional of where people can find you.
Oh, yeah. So every single day on Instagram, whether it be on IGTV or the stories or whatever, just value and tips, like actionable tips every day. So I have to pull it up just so I don't get it wrong. But yeah, so you can find me Julian, Julian _ Fearless Life. And yeah, every single day, actionable stuff. And if you actually go to the link in my bio, and that is the-flp.com/unlock-your-power, there's actually a free masterclass to help you create change at a subconscious level. So I'll walk you through the ins and outs. It's 15 minutes, but you'll leave a lot more powerful than you came. So, but yeah, Instagram is definitely where I'm putting out the good stuff.
Awesome.
Love it. And I have a couple degrees in psychology, so I totally got everything that you just said about neurology and physics.
Just calmly drop it, then you got a couple degrees in psychology.
It's like a lot of people probably were like, what the hell is he talking about? Neurophysical, whatever, something crap.
Yeah.
Just, I got it.
Yeah, your mind and body. They play by certain rules, but when you can learn those rules, you can start to use them in your favor instead of letting them hijack your decision making. I like that word, hijack. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, in a really, really short version, would you agree or disagree that it all kind of comes down to mindset and learning how to control your mindset, because all of your actions lead to all of the reactions that happen around you?
Yeah. 100%. And it's funny. Mindset is one of those words that gets thrown around a lot, right? Like a lot of people think your mindset is your ability to get really hyped up and stay motivated, like a Tony Robbins dance thing. But no, yeah, your mindset is literally your neurological patterns. It's your thought patterns. It's your belief systems. It's the show between your ears. But you're absolutely right. Like, I think you'll all agree with me. Your life is the sum of your thoughts, feelings, and actions, right? When we look at how happy or unhappy our families or our relationships are, or we look at how healthy or unhealthy we are, or how healthy or unhealthy our business or our careers are, that shit doesn't just pop out of the ground, right? It's the sum of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. And so where your thoughts, feelings, and actions come from, you're absolutely right. It's your mindset. So yeah, that's where it's all stored. That's the key. So I 100% agree that that's where it starts. Your mindset, which is, being aware. What are you thinking? Why are you thinking what you're thinking? Why are you feeling what you're feeling? And when self-awareness, right? Like when you can become aware of yourself, you can, we're the only species on Earth that has metacognition, right? We can be aware of being aware. And so that's what's made us the most species on Earth. So it's like, fucking use that. Use the power of your brain, use your volition to understand, like, what are you thinking and why? Because when you can start to redirect that, you set into motion like this whole series of cause and effect that's gonna eventually show itself to you in some kind of external result, whether it's health or wealth or happiness or whatever. It's like, like you do the work inside, it will eventually work its way into the measurable shit that we all think are super important.
Cool.
All right.
So long-winded. Sometimes I get a little long-winded. So
no, you're totally fine. I'm going to ask it now because we're learning that listening skills are difficult at some points. Like the average podcast is like 10 minutes to get people's attention. YouTube's like 7 or 8 minutes.
Damn. Like they stop listening after 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Yeah. We've been watching analytics and checking a bunch of surveys and stuff, and it's honestly really short, and our episodes are usually like an hour long. So
yeah. Well, let's get cracking. I
want to get all the important shit out of the way.
Yeah.
And then we'll deep dive into stuff, and if people go listen, awesome.
Yeah.
So this is the one question that we always ask is, what is your personal definition of success?
It's a good one because I think most people just chase some spoon-fed version of success, and then they kind of get it, and they're like, wait a minute, I'm still really unhappy. So for me, success is freedom. Like most people, right? It's freedom, but it's the ability to call the shots in my life. Because I run my own business, like success is okay because I keep a certain amount of promises to myself, discipline or consistency, whatever you want to call it. That discipline then creates freedom, right? So my discipline has created financial freedom, right? And I'm not driving around in fucking Ferraris and all that, but like all my bills are paid and then some. And my car just got stolen on Monday, so like literally, it's now I have the ability to, insurance is going to help, but I can go get a new car. And if my wife and I want to go on a vacation in 2 months, like we can, because of the promises I kept to myself, right? So yeah, success isn't like a number or a fucking house on the beach or whatever. It's literally just like keeping promises to myself to create freedom and options. That's what it is. And because I've done the other thing where you're like, oh, this dude, he knows what success is. I'm going to go get his version of success. And yeah, just burnout, grinding and burnout is all that gets you.
Oh, it sucks about your car, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dude, so we were moving, literally, like we were moving. And mid-move, like we loaded up the push cart, went up the elevator, unloaded the stuff, came back down. She was gone. I was like, fuck. And it was the middle of the move. So like half our shit was still on the north side of Austin. We were moving to Riverside, which is a little bit south. But it gave me an opportunity to practice what I preach, right? Like owning your internal state, not letting your circumstances hijack what's going on inside. And like, yeah, I got pissed off for a little bit. My nervous system was just freaking out. But I was able to collapse the time, right? Like what used to take me a week, what used to make me butt hurt for a month, now I can collapse that to 24 hours. And I think that's pretty cool because I got a question for you guys and for your 2 listeners. Right? So how often do you guys go negative, right? How often do you get frustrated or anxious or stressed or overwhelmed?
Are you talking at work? Because it's like every second.
Well, yeah, work, personal life, professional life, commute, whatever, right? I mean, the average answer is, I don't know, but a lot, right?
You know, I do have some good days and some bad days, but like every time I'll eventually see it and go, you know what, have I had a bad day? Or have I had 10 to 20 minutes of a bad circumstance? And have I let it take over my life? And then I just go, okay, you know what? I should stop being butthurt. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's funny, right? Like it's our favorite reaction, right? To get a little negative. But it's like also if we do this thing so often, how awesome does it make our life, right? Like why would we choose to do something so often? Because I can be honest, like getting frustrated, getting overwhelmed, getting butthurt, getting anxious, like none of that has ever really made my life more awesome. And is it Einstein who said who's the quote? It's like doing the same thing and expecting something different. Is that Einstein?
Oh, the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting.
Yeah, and expecting different results. Like, okay, maybe it was Einstein, someone smarter than us, but like, yeah, it's like, oh, maybe this time getting frustrated and having a hissy fit and playing some crazy drama in my head is going to help. And it's like, no, the batting average is 0. Like it didn't help the last 5,000 times. Like, why is getting super overreactive going to help this time? And it's like, well, it doesn't. Self-awareness, owning your mindset. That's the shit that helps.
It was funny. This actually came up on our first episode. And Brad was talking about how he was having a bad day and he was bitching to me about it. And I said, hey, dude, you still alive? Still breathing? You got food? Then shut up.
Yeah, it's like, feel what is real, right? Like most of us, we experience stress and anxiety because we're on this pendulum, right? Like if right now is the moment of now, I think of it like a razor's edge. It's like, it's right now. But most people, man, they're swinging, they're anticipating the future or replaying the past, right? And they're on this pendulum, and they're playing all these negative what if scenarios in their head. And then they're trying to create solutions to problems that they don't even fucking have yet, right? Or they're going into the past. And it's like, what's going on right now? You breathing? Yeah. Right? You happy? You healthy? Yeah. You got people in your life that love you, even though you piss them off? Yeah. If that's what's real right now, if that's what's true right now, why don't you feel what's true instead of some fucking made up fantasy? That's a start, right? And it's nice. It's nice. Moment by moment, you just make your life nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's like today, I'm not going to go into details because she'll kill me. But like my wife texted me and was like, I am so fucking pissed. And I was like, for what? And she's like, this and this and this and this happened. I was like, that made you mad? Like, can you control it? No. Then let it go. I mean, that might suck, but getting pissed about it, what's that going to change?
Exactly, right? It's like, did it work before? Did it work the last 100 times? Like, no, then maybe try a different strategy, right? Maybe change it up. And so, like, again, back to your listeners, or just, I mean, anybody who's unhappy with where they are, it's not because you suck. It's not because there's something wrong with you, but maybe your autopilot reactions aren't getting the job done anymore, right? So, like, I use that word a lot, autopilot,
I like it.
where you're awake, your eyes are open, and you're moving around, you're texting, but you're not fucking awake. You're not there, right? You're on that pendulum. You're not in the present. You're trying to predict the future or relive in the past, right? Like, you're awake, but you're not conscious. Yeah, if you're on autopilot, I guarantee you're going to stay stuck because you're not in the driver's seat. Some weird, distorted, negative version of you is, and that person's just going to keep steering you to Sucktown over and over. You know what I mean? And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it a lot and a lot and a lot. But that's my main skill that I really went all in on in 2019, and I don't plan on changing it in 2020. Is just awareness. Just like, am I living in reality, or am I living in some distorted negative fantasy my mind is creating? And it's like, man, the more time you spend in that state of presence, like, the better things are going to get. I guarantee you.
Well, and like, speaking of awareness, and this is just what flashed into my brain, is like, when you turn 21, for example, myself went and got his concealed carry permit. And every time I'm carrying, I'm absolutely aware of like everything that's going on. And ever since then, like, you won't ever see me facing my back to a door at a restaurant ever. And it's just little things like that. And I think that kind of portrays into everyday life if you can, just like you said, be aware. I mean, you're aware of what's happening and your reactions and your feelings, you know what I mean, towards whatever situation you're facing. I mean, eventually it just becomes a habit.
Yeah, just like anything. Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, right? Like, I know a ton of people who are anxious a lot, but not because their life is that fucking crazy and chaotic, but because they've just practiced anxiety and their body has normalized the chemicals of anxiety. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to feel it and I'm going to think it. I'm going to feel it and I'm going to think it. But like God, the universe, whatever higher power you think is up there, like, it didn't just pick you out of the population, like, hey, you suck, you're anxious, like, deal with that. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's a pattern. It's something we've practiced. It's a pattern. And then also, it's important to realize, like, a lot of the stuff that's negative in our life, like a lot, like being insecure or being negative or being an overthinker, whatever. It's also important to understand, like, a lot of that shit we didn't pick, we inherited it. We were spoon fed it, right? Like, grow between the ages of about like 5 and 12, when we don't have the grown up tools of logic and reasoning, like, we just absorb everything. So, we see our parents stress about money, and we think money's this scarce thing that's hard to get, or we get bullied when we're 7. Like, shit, we think, yeah, maybe we should be insecure. Maybe we do. Maybe we are gross, or maybe we are less than, right? And then we just memorize it and we feel it. And then we carry this feeling from this response that happened 20 years ago, we carry with us.
Conditioning. Nobody's born afraid of spiders, but you guess what?
Yeah.
I was afraid of the little puny spider.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you weren't ever born with any fears ever. You were taught them.
We're blank slates, and then we learn these limits.
Funny enough, my wife, she always has this problem. It's funny because I can time it to when month is, because it's like, you're gonna be insecure this day, and this day, and they're all. She's like, no, I'm not. I go, yeah, it is. I know exactly what it is, and she's like, well, how do I stop being insecure? I go, I don't know. I'm not a guy that's insecure. I don't give a crap. And she goes, well, how did you learn that? I had a dad that said, don't be a wuss. And she goes, well, teach me. I go, I literally can't, because I don't even know how I'm not insecure or why I'm not anxious about stuff. I'm just not. Now, I've been depressed. And so like every time she does it, maybe I'll have her go through your little
Masterclass.
And she constantly asks, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? I'm like, because you're allowing it. You really are just allowing it. You're feeling it, and you continue walking through it. And I'm glad that we're able to talk to you, because then maybe I can have some help with her.
Yeah, she can listen to this episode. She'll love it. She'll love it. And it's, you're not, again, like, it's not in your DNA that you're insecure. It's not in your brain that you're insecure. It's a feeling you've practiced, and then you rationalize the feeling with the thoughts. So for her, just like you were asking them the questions, like, are you breathing? Are you here? Are you okay? Are you fed? Is your body working for you instead of against you? Okay. If that's what's true, what should you feel right now? Right? Like if I looked outside and it was snowing and I went out in fucking just boxer shorts and I was like, why am I so cold? Because what I chose to put on did not match what was going on outside. It didn't match reality. Right? And so if we're using your wife, for example, she could be in a room with you with no actual factual reason to be insecure, right? She's distorting reality. And so for you, when you can help her calmly, don't call her out, but calmly, babe, take a couple breaths, start breathing through your nose, expand your stomach, feel your feet on the floor, look around. What realistically, what truthfully, what objectively is there to be insecure of right now in this moment, right? And a lot of times the answer is, well, nothing. It's like, okay, well, if the truth is true, which it is, what should you feel? I'm not saying you have to feel like you're unicorn rainbows and kisses, but you can feel okay, right? You can feel all right. And when you do that, you literally disrupt a chemical pattern. You literally disrupt these neural pathways, and moment by moment, you no longer identify as this insecure person. It takes time, right? Because she's practiced insecurity for a long time. So it's just habit at this point, and that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with her. She has nothing to be insecure about. But she's just practiced feeling that for a long time. So boom, whenever she is there, and it'd be cool if you could help her. But like, yeah, certain times she's gonna have to do it on her own as well. Boom, interrupt the pattern. Start breathing. Change your body language. Raise your heart. Start breathing. What's real? What's true right now? Right? If she's got toilet paper on her shoe, then yeah, maybe she should be insecure, right? She has something to be self-conscious of. But 99% of the time, probably nothing. Probably nothing. And just feel the facts instead of this fantasy feeling.
I think it's beneficial for everybody.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, 100%, 100%. Like, for example, I wanted to start a business for a while, right? But immediately my brain started trying to predict the future, right? And so it was like, oh, what if nobody shows up? What if there's no clients? What if you go broke? What if you fail and everybody sees it and everyone thinks you're a loser? What if you're left alone and you die because you're such a fucking loser, right? Like your brain just gets nasty sometimes if you let it, right? And I let that negative thought pattern hijack. Was that a human? Oh yeah. It's like, is that a dog?
That's my redhead.
Oh man.
gremlin.
But yeah, like boom, you start to picture this negative stuff. You start to feel negative stuff. It starts to hijack your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Boom. I just sat on the sideline for way longer than I needed to, simply because I left the present moment. I lost self-awareness. I let old negative feelings run wild, old insecurities run wild and project themselves into the future. And I just let old stories keep me trapped. And so, yeah, man, there's a lot of people in that world where they know what they want to do, or they know at least the direction they want to go in, but they just keep talking themselves out of it by replaying old negative feelings from the past. And that's really it.
Basically breaking that fear barrier.
Yeah, it's breaking that fear barrier. It's like, you ever jump off the diving board?
A couple times.
Right? Do you remember the first time? Like the first time, like Your brain uses fear to keep you safe from the unknown, right? So like literally think about it. The first time you're on the diving board, you've never jumped off the diving board. You may know how to swim, obviously, but like you tippy toe up to the edge. Man, I stood there for like 10 minutes. Everyone's like, just jump. I was like, fuck you, I'm scared, right? And then you finally jump in and you swim to the side and you're like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. And your brain loosens the grip. Your brain it's in threat detection mode. You do the thing, you're fine, and your brain goes, no more threat, right? You're good to go. And it's kind of like that exposure therapy. It's like, yeah, like if you're afraid of being rejected, like go get rejected. Show your brain that everything is fucking fine. You know what I mean? Like go public speak. Go ask someone on the street for $5 and watch them say no. Like, cool. Maybe they say yes, but if they say no, like, are you any different? Are you any less than? Did you get harmed in any way? No. And your brain will start to loosen the grip. So yeah, that barrier fear, you should trademark that one.
I have a similar story. I mean, it was junior high. We all had to write these essays. I think you might have been there actually. But we had to write like a whole book worth of poems, and then they got the whole school together with the parents, and they were like, hey, come up and share your poems. And everyone was like, no. And so one of my friends was like, yeah, screw it, I'll go do it. And he did. And then he was like, I dare you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. So I get up there, my voice is all shaky and shit, you know, I'm like stumbling over my words and stuttering like I do now anyway. And I got done and I was like, you know what, that was actually pretty cool. Like, I think facing your fears and doing it anyway, and then finding out that you can overcome whatever you're breaking down in your brain makes you feel good. And then it kind of puts you in like this mindset of like, shit, I'm on fire, let's roll.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Everyone's like, how do I get confidence? Like I said, dude, just keep promises to yourself. Do the shit you say you're going to do. That's the only way to get confidence. It doesn't just sneak up on you in the night and you wake up, you're like, oh yeah, there it is. Cool. Amazon Prime that shit. Drone drop it. Like, no, you got to cultivate it by just doing the shit you say you're going to do. And then magically, yeah, that boldness shows up because you're like, that fear was an illusion. The truth is I can handle my shit.
Yeah, you can't buy confidence online. It's not show up at your doorstep. You got to earn it and then own it.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote myself on that one. That was good.
That was really good.
That's like 2 trademark lines in one episode.
Yeah, we're on the roll.
See, my confidence is building.
20 episodes in.
But yeah, you kept a promise to yourself.
You know, going on the promise to yourself, I mean, me and Kevin, we not only do this podcast, but we do YouTube channel too. And we literally talked about it for 2 years. Yeah. And we're like, we should do this. You know, all they're doing is recording stuff, just throwing it on there, and people watching it, whatever. And then we started doing it, and then we sat down and we're like, okay, this is fun, but we could do something better. And we talked about the podcast, and literally, like, within 2 weeks, we're like, okay, let's just start emailing people. I mean, what's going to happen? Are they going to say no? And then all of a sudden, everybody that we've gotten so far, they're like, yeah, that's a cool idea. Let's get it going. And then we're like, every episode, we're like, okay, we can do this podcast thing, and we're getting better and better, and it's easier. And one thing I would have to say is just we finally just decided there isn't a fear barrier. Let's just figure it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. And funny, you said something in there. It's like when we have this cool idea that excites us, you know, really calls on our heart. It's so funny. Like we almost keep it a secret. Like, we don't tell anyone. Like, oh, like this would be awesome, but I'm not going to fucking tell anyone. And then what happens when you finally start to tell people, like, dude, you will be surprised at how eager people are to help. But they can't help you if you just lock it up and keep it in your basement, right? Like, you got to tell them. But when, like, people love to see how much you give a shit. And when they see it's something you're passionate about, yeah, they're going to be like, cool. How can I help? I have a buddy who wanted to get in real estate for a long time. But he's like, I don't know. I just don't know what I'm doing. And he just started telling people about his ideas. They're like, oh, talk to this guy, talk to this guy, talk to this guy. And in like less than 3 months, got linked up with the right people, got a deal going. And now he's flipping houses up in Chicago, like, because he just like stopped keeping it a secret, started sharing. So yeah. And you guys embody that with the podcast. Like, you didn't keep it a secret. You didn't kick the can down the line for 2 more years. You're just like, let's start reaching out to people in our circle and see what happens. Now you got momentum.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
I don't know, easy peasy, but we got momentum.
Oh, we went through a lot of crap trying to figure out the interwebs.
Oh my gosh. It was difficult.
We're not the most brilliant people in the world, but we're getting there.
But you probably know someone who is. Probably know some nerds.
Yeah.
Sorry if there's any nerds listening. I'm a nerd, so whatever.
I am a nerd, but not a front end nerd. I'm a back end nerd. So we got a front end nerd on our side.
Yes.
We're offended people, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're offending people, man. That's okay.
What's that Simpsons episode where he's going, nerd?
You watch this? You watch South Park with the PC guy?
Oh yeah, I watched that one.
He's like a big mushroom.
Uh-huh.
His name's like PC Bro, or like that's whatever. If there's any listeners that can fact check that, there's someone on South Park who's like the PC patroller guy. But yeah, fear barrier, definitely real, definitely optional. I think that would be the big takeaway on that one.
Yeah. I mean, anybody listening, 2 rednecks that literally had no idea what they were doing, and now they're 20 episodes in. If we can do it, you literally can do it.
I was like Nicholas Bailey told us 90% of podcasts stop at episode 7.
Episode 7?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Make it 7 deep and then quit.
Yeah. Well,
we've only got 3 live, but we've got freaking 18 in backlog scheduled and ready to go every week.
In the holster, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talking about, so confidence is different than motivation, right? Motivation can be that strike of lightning that does hit you, right? And so, yeah, I think a lot of people, but motivation is like sprinting a marathon, like it's not going to happen, right? And so I think that's why, like, a lot of people, they'll get that instant hit of motivation. But yeah, like if 90% are running out by 7, it's kind of like the same, I don't know the exact figure, but like 90% of New Year's resolutions burn out by February, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? Like, you know, motivation and willpower can only get you so far, but having the awareness and the courage to do the shit you're afraid of, that's what reinvigorates you. That's what gives you confidence, and that's sustainable. But motivation and willpower, not sustainable. 7 episodes, and then you're back to loser town.
Like it. So I wanted to incorporate this somehow, and I just didn't have it.
It's not going to happen organically, so let's just jam it in there.
Nick, when we talked to Nick Maytash, he was talking about when we recorded with him, like the day after you guys recorded this new episode, and you finished it off with, "Hey Nick, what's your tangible takeaway taco from this episode?" And he was still dumbfounded by the time he talked to us the next day.
Needed alliteration. I just threw it up. I was like, "What?" He's like, "I don't know."
Yeah, he was like, "Wait, what?"
Are we going to do a tangible takeaway taco today?
We usually don't, but we could.
Yeah, we can do it. Why not?
I would like that very much.
I've got a good one.
Yeah, I say we do a round robin. We all hit them with like a one thing that, like, if any of these ideas are hitting home with you, like, cool, learning's great, but if you don't implement, it's just fucking noise that you forget. So,
I don't mean to steal your mojo with the taco talk. That's your deal. So we'll call.
How about you two go first? You two go first with your tangible takeaway tacos, and then I'll finish it up strong. How about that?
All right, I'll start.
Okay.
Ooh, K-Train.
And I'm gonna not quote Dave Daly, but everybody has a fear, and you just need to knock it out. Get over your fear. If you want to do something, if it's what you're passionate about, don't live a life that you fucking hate, and go chase your passion and figure out a way to make money doing it.
Done deal.
I
Seal
like
that up.
Me, it's almost bringing back memories of my grandpa. And get out of your own way. You're the one that's stopping you. Get out of your own way and get into work. Get it going. Whatever you need to get going, figure it out. Nowadays, you can get almost anything and you can get it going. You just got to get out of your own way.
100%. Because, I mean, think about it this way. Like, a lot of people, like, unless someone's literally trapping you in your basement, like, the only person stopping you is the stories you're telling yourself, right? Like,
it's the person in the mirror.
Yeah. And I'm not, I've been there. Like, that's the reason I can talk about it. So, I'm not up on a pedestal being like, I've never dealt with this, but like, it sounds like you should do this. I think we've all been in that spot where we're like, we've done the fucking scary thing. But cool stuff has happened as a result of the scary thing. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So seems we've got a theme going here. I'm going to say, take what they both said and get out a piece of paper, put your phone away, listener, because I mean,
on your phone,
unless you're listening on your phone, press pause after you leave a review, for God's sake. Because you need stillness, right? Like, when we're always on stimulus, when we're always reacting to people, it just, it triggers our nervous system. It puts us on autopilot, right? That's why when you see people scrolling their phone, they're just like zombied out, right? And so I would say, have the courage to spend some time in stillness, close the door, get out the pen, get out the paper, and like, what are some things you want to do that fear is stopping you from doing? And then break it down to the one thing. Break it down to one small thing you can do in the next 24 hours, and then do it. And then you just kept a promise to yourself. Now you're going to have that confidence on a smaller scale, but you're going to have it. And when you keep doing that, that's literally how I crawled out of this really deep depression I was in. It was like, it wasn't this big home run swing. Like, it was just this little shit every day. Especially on the days when I didn't want to do it. When my brain was like, just don't do it today. And I'm like, but I've already done it so many times. I got to do it again. So I would say, carve out some time for yourself, get some pen and paper, and just tell yourself the truth. Stop lying. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? But fears get in the way. And what is one small thing you can do that moves you towards that?
Love it.
Taco. Tangible taco.
Tangible tacos.
And now I'm fucking starving, guys. Come on. Got no food in this place. But I'm glad we were able to put the tangible thing in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. And I had told Nick this. Usually when I listen to your guys' podcast, The New School of Success, I remembered it that time.
Yeah.
I'm usually just laying in the bathtub, just like chilling out. And so like I'm naked when I'm listening to your voices.
Love that visual, man.
I love your podcast. I mean, it's just like, there's like 15 to 30 minutes of just like incredibleness. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. So anyone that's listening at this point, just go check it out, because these guys are fucking awesome.
I appreciate that. And it's, but just like you two, right? It was just an idea. It was just a fucking idea. Like, there wasn't an existing podcast show that was handed to us, right? Like, we had to just do it. We had to get messy, and we had to mess up the audio, and we had to do a full episode until Nick realized he didn't press record. We had to do the whole thing again. Like, we had to do that. Does that happen to you guys?
We did that with Nick.
We did it with Nick.
So, maybe it's Nick. Maybe it's something about Nick.
It's got to be Nick. He's the best dude. But we had an issue where Zoom was not recording the full thing. It would cut us out at like 26 minutes.
Yeah.
So we paid for it because we have more than 2 parties, right? Mm. Well, then I signed in with the wrong fucking account. And it just killed, like right in the middle of a word that he was saying. And I was like, ah, shit. So I sent him a message real quick. We hopped back on. We kept going.
Yeah.
So I stitched them together. But, yeah, that was the second time that's happened. The first time, I'm not even going to get into it. But at least with Nick, we were able to do a complete episode. And it actually worked out. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just, again, it's not going to be squeaky clean. Whatever it is, whatever your thing is, listener, whatever your journey is, it shouldn't be squeaky clean.
Is that a dog?
Yeah.
I got a human, you get a dog.
You got a dog. He's a little chow chow pit. He's nice. A good guy. But yeah. So take all the pressure off that it has to be perfect, because it doesn't.
Right.
Well, and that's one thing I think me and Kevin excel at is we know it's not going to be perfect, and we want you to see your imperfections.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like, would you go see a movie if it was like, hey, this is Bill, and Bill's life is pretty okay, and it's just going to be okay, and now it's really okay. Okay, that's the end. You'd be like, fuck that. Like, the movie sucks.
There's the ups and downs.
Yeah. Where's the thrill, man? And so it's like, your journey can't be this squeaky clean happy fest all the time. Or else it'd just be just this boring shit. It'd be like if you ate your favorite food every single day. I don't care who you are. I've said that to people like, I could eat steak every day. Fuck you, no you can't. Like, but yeah, if you had your favorite food every single day, it would cease to be your favorite. It would just be normalized. It would just be bland. And so it's like, yeah, you need to get hungry a little bit for the feast to be amazing, right? You need to eat shit for a while to have that breakthrough be amazing. So it's like, embrace the sticky, nasty parts of this as well as the cool wins. Because, I'm sure when you guys launched your first episode and it went live, like, that's a pretty cool feeling, right? That you took an idea and brought it to life. It's a cool feeling. So it's like, yeah, ditch all the pressure that it's got to be this cool, smooth thing. Like, it's got to be messy. Should be messy.
Love it. I think we're going to close with that. That was perfect.
That was perfect. I love it.
So
yeah. So that's like a second helping of tangible taco. Second serve.
So thank all 2 of you for listening. And, we'll be back with somebody else.
See ya.